I'm ready to go.
Let's go. Welcome to the Sumariwolf. Welcome to the Sumariwolf podcast. My name is Brendan Mark Van Wichen. This is my very good friend Sarah Jane Tickner. No longer Mackenzie.
No, yeah. It's been a little while, but officially it's not been very long because it took me forever to get around to it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it and I was like, that was by far the best wedding I've been to. Like easily.
Like, that was the goal?
Like, yeah, like I've been to like a few weddings. Like there was one other wedding that happened like years ago that was funny for different reasons, but it was more because it seemed like an episode of Seinfeld, so to speak. But like, yeah, yours was definitely probably the most fun one I've been to. Like just in terms of like vibe and like the incident and everything else that went.
Yeah. It's not a party without some chaos.
Oh yeah, well that's my perspective as well. Like I hear about like my parents' wedding and they're like, tell me about all the chaos that went on, and I'm like, that sounds so fun. Like that's, in my opinion, what a wedding is meant to be. It's meant to be like a story.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be like, oh, we got married.
We did the thing.
We got married and took some photos.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like I want something cool to happen.
I know, I needed a whole story. I was like, people are going to remember this and talk about this forever. I'm like, every single one of our friends is going to compare this when they plan 100%. Their wedding. That's the goal.
Yeah, like now I'm like, fuck, like what do I want to do for a wedding? Like that's going to be, it'll be interesting. But yes, anyway, this is my friend Sarah. You can find her on Synergize with Sarah.
Yeah.
Synergize with Sarah?
Synergize with Sarah.
Yeah. Do you want to quickly run everyone through what you do as a feminine empowerment mentor?
So basically my main aim and what I really preach and teach is authenticity and just the power behind just being your most authentic self, being your most like authentic power and just actually owning that. I do work predominantly with women. That is something I've kind of steered towards as I've worked through my journey and really become the woman that I am today. And I find there's so much power in really activating anybody's potential, whether it's a woman or a man or anyone in general, but just that's what I do. I teach people how to be authentic. I am a life coach and mentor. I work with energy. I do basically all sorts of things. I'm one of those people that just has my finger in all the pies because I just can't do one thing at a time. This is not for me.
Well, I think we're like talking about how it's almost like, you can either have kind of like your 9-to-5 job where you kind of have to go to work for your 8 hours and make a wage, or you can spend 24 hours a day doing the thing that you actually love and perhaps not having like the financial security to begin with, but when it starts actually coming in, it's like, oh cool, I can actually fund doing this now, and now I can put even more effort into this rather than stressing. But as I said, so like the reason, like we kind of briefly went over why I wanted you in particular as a guest, because a lot of what I talk about on this podcast, I guess this is the first official episode, so the premise of this podcast is very much to do with like the nature of creativity, and it has a lot to do with like psychic development, spiritual development, and I just kind of like to, as someone who has gone down the spiritual path and gone down like the psychic path and the mediumship path and all of these kinds of things, I think it's very important to understand that we are both masculine and feminine. Like regardless of what sex we are, there are masculine and feminine traits that we have. The masculine being the physical and the dominant and the ego oriented, and the feminine being the intuitive and the emotional and the creative and the nurturing side of things. And so so this episode in particular I kind of wanted to create as kind of, I guess, like a social experiment to kind of, I guess, highlight a lot of what I've discovered in the world and the things that I feel will be most beneficial in helping not just men, but women in particular find their own power too, or at least try and discover a way to nurture women in a way that allows them to reach their highest potential too, and which will in turn allow men to grow too, because
we support each other.
Yeah, because I feel like I need to hydrate as well, but I feel like there's so much just like division at the moment, like everywhere. If you want to take over while I drink some water.
I think there's been division for such a long time, and we've been really trained into like literally from the moment we're born, we are trained into this division. We're trained into this men versus women when actually we need each other. And there wouldn't be both of us if we didn't need each other. There wouldn't be the masculine and the feminine energy, the duality. It wouldn't exist if we weren't meant to coexist and create together. And, you know, for me, like I've been in a relationship for nearly 14 years, and I can definitely speak to the fact of like my ability to step into my creativity, my power, lean on my intuition and my self-trust and create the life that I now have really lies so solely in the fact that I've had a very secure man at home who has gone to work, who has really provided for me in the time where I wanted to step back. And, you know, not everyone is able to have that, but also I do see so much division of women thinking that, you know, they have to do it without a man. And, you know, definitely there is a space where they will, and they fucking absolutely can. But then you hear of all these women in like extreme levels of burnout because they've been so heavily in their masculine and just going and going and going. And it's like, you've got to find that duality even within yourself as well, not just in relationship. Yeah,
well, first things first, shout out to Dylan.
Dylan probably won't listen to this, but I could definitely play it at home and let him listen to the background.
No, he doesn't have to. But,
shout out to Dylan. That man is a gem.
But no, I'm glad you kind of like said that, because that's very much in alignment with what I kind of want to talk about. So I kind of need to give. There's a bit of a foundation I have to kind of go over before getting to kind of the crux of what I want to get into. But, and it kind of, I guess it just kind of goes down to my kind of just experience, because that's kind of all what we have. Like I fully believe that, you know, we're living in a time where everyone is kind of, it feels like they're scrounging to just make sense of things. And they're you know, they're either going to like politics, or they're following influencers on the internet, or they're listening to the news, or like they're going into, you know, a lot of people are turning back to Christianity now, or like a new age, and you know, there's so many different things that people are going for. But the thing is that like everyone's experience is completely subjective, and so the only person that you should really be turning to as an authority on your life is yourself, because you're the only person who knows what's going on. And the way to develop that understanding of yourself and what you need is by going inward and learning how to meditate, and you know, beginning to develop the more feminine traits of being human, which is intuition and meditation, and just all of the, like I typically just refer to as feminine traits as like psychic traits, because that's what they are. Like women are the psychic beings that we live with. And
we're the witches. They didn't call us witches for no reason.
100%. And that even goes back and touches on the whole division fact. Like we had, you know, back in the day, we had incredible women who were aware of their power, and they were burnt for it.
Women have been destroyed for eons and eons because of their ability to do things that societal growth didn't agree with.
100%. And
it was dangerous. We were seen as dangerous, and I think that's part of this division too.
You still are. That's the thing. Like that's
we're
the
powerful.
That's the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and so for the past, I don't know, number of years, I've been exploring this whole philosophy of, you know, I kind of got to a point where I had some things happen in my life where the people that I did look up to, I lost respect for them in certain ways, and it left me without kind of a navigation point. And I was like, cool, like who do I look to now to understand how I'm meant to kind of navigate as a male? And I had this realization of like, oh, well, you know, when it comes to like, let's kind of like divert a little bit, but when it comes to like, a lot of times you get frustrated at people, and you have friends and you're like, fuck, why can't they just figure it out? Like it's so obvious. But when we're actually looking at them in those ways, we're actually seeing ourselves in them, and we're seeing our own potential and
our own frustrations.
Yeah, and I had this realization of, oh, well, like why look to someone to be my role model when I can become my own role model? Because I know what is inherently right, and I know that no one's going to take myself more seriously than me, or my own development as seriously as me, except for potentially my parents.
I think a lot of people really struggle to do that. Like to see yourself as a role model is like, obviously we have the question that comes in of the ego. It's like, oh, well, you lean on your ego, but also like people just don't have that level of self-faith or self-trust to actually be able to see themselves as, good enough to be their own role model.
Yeah, and when I say that, I want to like quickly clarify. I don't mean trying to be a role model for other people.
No, just for yourself.
I mean but the difficult part comes down to having that like humility. Like you have to actually be able to. I remember the first time it ever happened to me. I remember I was 12 years old, and it was like we'd just gone to like high school.
Yeah.
And I remember there were these. I have this friend called Fabian Blackburn. Shout out to Fabian, by the way. And we ended up going to opposite high schools, and I remember our buses were like going past one another, and all of the kids on the back, they're like, yeah, like flipping everyone off. And I saw my friend Fabian, I was like, yeah, fuck you, man. And he looked up and he's like and waved to me, and I was like, oh man, I feel like the worst person ever. And I just felt like this overwhelming sense of guilt because I just kind of like went with the pack and just like, and that was the very first time where I felt that sense of like, just kind of like shame, I guess, and was like, I don't want to feel that again, and I want to change this. And that's kind of the first time I ever understood what humility felt like. It was to, do what you know is right, to, regardless of how
Despite
other people
what
are
the
going to
pack's
start thinking about you, which is, I guess, very related to the whole theme of this podcast.
Everything is perfect.
But yeah, and so I kind of, it's very funny, I don't know who said it to me once, but I fully believe that the fastest way and the most intimate way to learn something is simply through experience. And without realizing that kind of took me down some very interesting paths in my life. Like I ended up, I became a climbing arborist and would climb to the top of 50 and 60 meter trees for fun. Like I started playing like death metal and learning how to scream and sing and record and building a studio. Like I own a wolf now. Like I listen to, I try and find the most creative, extreme music that I can possibly find, because it's like, I want to know the most about everything. And this led me down so many different paths. Like, when right and left wing politics properly became a thing back in, say, 2016 or 2017.
You're talking to the wrong person if you're talking about politics backgrounds.
When Caitlyn Jenner decided to come out, like that was kind of the beginning of that whole
drama.
Well, and we're still living it, because
100%.
And and so I wanted to make sense of what was going on, and it led me down a pretty interesting path where I think that just due to my skin color and sexual orientation and being a white male, like I think I naturally fell into more of like the right wing area of things, because typically that's kind of how it works. I don't think it's I found that it was less of I want to be on this side as a more like, this is where you're placed,
this is where you belong
in society. And I think everyone kind of copped the frustration of, the internet happened, and then all of a sudden you've got your Andrew Tates coming out, and like your Ben Shapiro's, and you've got, you've just got all these like crazy, all of a sudden political figures with a lot of opinions. And a lot of them made a lot of good points. Like I remember seeing Andrew Tate and being like, oh, okay, this dude's a kickboxing world champion. He's like, he's wealthy, he's strong, he's got some really good opinions on discipline and self-development. And, I'd watch his videos and I'd be like, man, this guy knows a lot of stuff. And then all of a sudden say something like, women are property, or like, not that he actually says that exact thing,
something
but
along those
something
lines.
misogynistic. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, like that's not right. I don't agree with that. And so I spent a lot of time kind of exploring politics in that way, of kind of holding my own values and understanding what I knew was true, and also like exploring spirituality and all this kind of stuff. But I'd always be trying to find someone who had it right. But it always seemed like,
you're looking for the answer outside of yourself.
Yeah, straight up. But it always seemed like the their answers were never really coming from within. It was always an external source, whether it be through their religion or through some other kind of dogma that they follow. And it ended up leading me to kind of not really enjoying politics, at all, because I was like, I don't really agree with any of this. Like, there's so many things on the left that I agree with. There's the things on the right that I agree with, but I can't have a conversation with any single person where we agree on every single thing. And and it kind of goes down to the subjective nature of the experience that we're having. And this ended up leading me down a different path where I was like, okay, maybe I can learn through psychedelics. And so I went extreme on that. Like, I went crazy hard on LSD to the point where I nearly lost my life. I then went crazy hard on psilocybin mushrooms until I learned the lessons from there. I then, explored DMT until I discovered that. And what I ended up learning from each of these medicines at the end of the day, and even like marijuana too, that's a psychedelic, is that you don't need these substances to find the answers. What these substances do is that they actually bring you closer to what the truth is. And it's our ego that struggles to deal with that, because we have our ego, which is the rational, logical side of the mind, the masculine side of the mind, and then we have our emotional and intuitive side, which is our feminine side of the mind. And that's what these psychedelics help us enhance, because we know that we are masculine dominant.
I feel like they open up the closed-mindedness that the ego can create, because the ego creates the closed-mindedness to ensure its own safety at the end of the day. It's ultimately just trying to keep you safe in its little bubble. And when you get into these psychedelics, that's why psychedelics can be such a scary experience for some people, because it takes away that protective bubble that is the ego, and then it does open you up to your creativity, and it can open you up to all the, not always, depending on the person, but it does open you up to maybe a part of yourself that you've never even witnessed. And I think people, they lean on it, especially in the early days of starting to understand what is going on in this world, because they don't think again, it comes back to that self-belief. They don't believe that they could figure it out on their own.
Yeah, and I think that as well, like, I think when we talk about the ego, I feel like a lot of this comes down, all of our fear in life comes down to our lack of understanding of what death is. That's what it all comes down to. That's what fear in general is. It's fear for your safety, and that's the ego being like, oh, I don't want to go here. Whereas when we explore our deeper nature and the actual nature of what we are as beings, you realize that death is not the end. It is actually just the yin and the yang for birth, and that without death, it's part of the cycle, and it's not something to fear, it's something to look forward to. It's the ascension of consciousness, which we go there when we dream every night anyway. It's the same place. But sorry, you go.
No, I'm just agreeing, agreeing with all this. I think even like you mentioned, we go there at night. You go there on psychedelics. You go there in all these different, you go there on meditation. If you can sit in meditation and you can get over the fact that your brain wants to take you in any other different direction, and you can actually just sit with it, you will, some shit will come through.
100%. And so this is kind of like, we're getting closer to the point I want to make, but through this, I learned that meditation is the most important thing you can do. And I can't I'm not anybody, you know what I mean? But what I do know is that I found a level of peace and gratitude and joy and excitement and creativity and just I fucking love life, man. I genuinely absolutely love it. And it's not even a case of some days are better than others. It's no, every single day is fucking incredible because I've nurtured myself and nurtured my psychic and my spiritual and my feminine side, which most people don't know how to do.
You've created that perspective for yourself. You've chosen to make that your reality.
Yeah, and through exploring this, after going down the psychedelic venture, I ended up finding myself in the psychic side of things. And I think there's a very big misconception with psychics, and I don't know if it's intentionally done or whatever it is, but you don't just have the gift. Everyone is a psychic. It is a muscle that you learn how to grow.
Psychic intuition. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It's the same fucking thing.
And
I
this,
do think it's purposefully been
I think it has
created.
too.
It's the same as the distance we were talking about earlier. It's been a purposeful disconnection so that people feel different.
You know, whenever you see a clairvoyant in Hollywood, they've got the dreadlocks and the thing, and they're dressed like this, and they've got the crystal ball.
What do you mean? You mean trying to do this?
But you know what I mean? Like it's
Stereotypically this.
Yeah, it's like this thing of like these like voodoo witch women who are so removed from the actual concept of what a woman is.
Yeah.
That makes you think, okay, this is not something that we as humans actually have in ourselves. But, you know, I went into psychic intuition. I was like, I want to learn this. And I ended up going to, I remember the first mediumship class I ever went to, and it was the funniest fucking thing, because the thing with like mediumship and psychic intuition is because it's such a feminine thing, very rare that you find men in it. And 9 times out of 10 they're gay as well, because they're just tapped into they're feminine.
Yeah.
And
I
remember
think that comes into the shame piece, doesn't it? The gay men or the women are less likely to feel
100%.
shame of stepping into those things, whereas your straight man, as you were saying, you put in a box as a straight white man especially, to then put yourself in a place that's inherently women, inherently feminine, inherently voodoo, hippy-dippy, whatever. There's the shame piece comes in, and that's just societal.
100%.
Like,
and I definitely felt that. I remember when I went into tree work, like I did not fit in like at all, because this is like, you know, this is a bunch of guys who drink and get on the bags on the weekend and like party, and they're you know, they're all talking about like fucking chicks and you know, just all this shit, and I'm here with my fucking like I actually shaved my hair at the time because I was going through a rebirth, so to speak, where I was like, okay, I need to learn how to be masculine, because I was like, I'm aware that I'm a feminine dude. Like I have long hair, I'm lanky as fuck, I like to play music. Like I'm not the kind of guy who's like out there, I don't play footy and like play contact sports.
You don't do
it's
all
not
the
my
typical
thing.
male things.
I like creative, feminine like things. I like the emotional side of things, not the fucking, you know, the other side of it. And, you know, it was a culture shock me getting into tree work, because I'm around all these dudes who just like masculine dudes, and you know, I had to learn how to do it. And that's half the reason I went into tree work, because I was like, I wanted to develop myself into a man. And it was very difficult, because, you know, I'd go out and I'd hang out with the guys and I'd get to know them and I'd do all this kind of stuff, and then make friends with them, be like, oh yeah, check out like my place. And I'd be like, yeah, check out like all of my art and all this, and they couldn't fucking care less. They're like
sick.
You know, and then I talk about spirituality and like, you know, psychedelics is what I was into at the time, and all of them were just like, couldn't care less. They just didn't get it. And I always felt like a black sheep in that area. But it was very funny, because it wasn't until I went to my first like mediumship class till I felt at home. But it was the funniest thing, because go out into the Dandenongs, into like, you know, forest area, and Diane Thomas is like, she's the greatest, she's my mentor. And, you know, in this big hall, and you walk in and there's just like the ambient music, and there's like, you know, incense going off, and there's candles, and there's like 20 to 30 like women in their 50s and 60s here, and I just walk in like this fucking tattered fucking sick cunt with his fucking ears stretched, dressed like this, and everyone just looked at me. And I was
They're like, you're in the wrong place, love.
I was like, yo, what's up? And but I never felt like so comfortable in any place that I've ever been.
Your soul knew that was where you needed to be at that time.
It was exactly where I needed to be, and it became very difficult because, you know, these classes were late at night, and then I have to get up at 5 a.m. and go to work and stuff. And I remember I was working with these guys, and I was like, yeah, sorry guys, I'm tired. Like, oh, what'd you get up to last night? I'm like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. And they're like, go on. I'm like, no, I'm serious. You won't get it. Like, what'd you do?
Don't
I'm
need to
I'm
know.
like, well, fucking went out into the Dandenongs and met up with a whole bunch of women and spoke to the dead for 3 hours. And they're like,
okay.
Like, what? No, you just went picking mushrooms or something. I'm like, if I told you, like, you want to fucking ask me? Like, this is what I did.
Yeah.
And through this, like, it was, you know, it's been fantastic. I ended up going on like a mediumship retreat, and there was like, I was one of, I think, 4 males among 100 women, and like, but just like involving myself with women, because I never used to, like, women used to hate me, like, and it was like, me and Emma have this running joke where she was like, why do women hate you? Because I just do things and trigger them somehow, and I wouldn't know why. Like, they just did not like me for some reason, and this is just, it was a burden that I had to live with for the longest time, where I was like, I just don't know why women don't fucking like me. And, you know, again, like, as I went into tree work 100% and like into music, and like I even look extreme, you know what I mean? Like, I went fully into this, and I wanted to learn everything about psychic intuition and mediumship. And the amount that I fucking learnt from being around women who were in their power, not being around women who, you know, are fucking doom scrolling and have been
complaining about their life,
have been castrated by beauty standards and all this kind of stuff. Like, actual women who were the creatures that they're meant to be.
And you do normally see that in the older women too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's starting to shift
older women
now.
are my favourite.
Yeah,
they're so
because like
sick.
they've had their kids. Some of them have gone through menopause. I've heard after menopause, they're just like, they give no fucks. They're like, nah, it's my fucking time.
Went
like,
through the bullshit.
My mum's at that point where she's like coming out the other side. I'm like, Mum, this is your fucking time.
Yeah,
like, let's
100%.
go. And
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, oh, I'm like, yes, you know, because it's that.
We're back.
Yeah, well, it's like you get to that point of like, holy shit, like I have, like you said, you've been living this like lie of like, you have to be the perfect woman, you have to be the perfect wife, you have to keep the perfect family. You also now have to go to work as well, because in this day and age, you can't just stay home and be the perfect wife. You know, they created this standard for women, and then they ripped it away from them and kept feeding them all the other things that they needed as well. And it's just like, no wonder. So these women get to menopause, and a lot of them come out the other side, and they're like, oh my God, I'm actually so powerful. A lot of them lose themselves completely through that, because they have to reawaken.
Dude, like, I don't think people quite realize like how incredible the fact that a woman can give birth is.
I know.
Like that is like very hushed down in society.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a crazy fucking thing to be able to do.
There's a lot of things women can do that's
like
hushed away.
Yeah, and so like, but through my exploration of this, like, I developed such significant abilities to manifest. Like, it's at the point where I have, you know, learned how to harness my feminine side of my psyche as a male. And, you know, all of a sudden when I see women, how they just talk about things and then it fucking happens, it started happening to me because I've learned how to strengthen these muscles. And it kind of led me to a very big realization where, you know, we do create our own reality. Like, we are in control of the events that take place in our lives, and the way that we do this is through manifestation. And manifestation being like the single one law of manifestation is that you get what you focus upon. Whatever you focus upon, it will happen, because there are universal mechanics going on beyond human
There's
comprehension.
some shit happening.
That, you know, our physical brain isn't designed to actually, like, our physical brain is created to work with ego and be oriented toward physical reality, but our mind and our, you know, our subconscious, it is constantly working overtime to bring into your life events of what you're focusing upon. And upon realizing this, I began to kind of understand where we are as a society. And the issue is that it's never been a case of like right wing versus left wing and all this kind of stuff. Like, the thing is that the right wing and the left wing are exact mirrors of one another. And what I mean by that is that they are both very much echo chambers in the way that they operate. And I don't mean that as in like, I don't mean that in a like a dismissive or like a negative way. What I mean by that is that say you have a white male like myself, right? You get cast into a certain place in society because there are certain, like the way that society is run is not healthy. It's not a healthy structure, and people are not happy with how it's being run. And given that our society has been built by white men, we do cop a lot of the blame for it. And it's not even that, like, half these people on the right wing, because I've met a lot of them. Like, I even got to the point where I met fucking neo-Nazis because I wanted to understand, like, what's
going through their mind.
And all of these people that I met, they were not really inherently evil people whatsoever. They were just so frustrated by how they were perceived by society that they ended up deciding to go with hatred and anger and blame rather than accountability.
It's just such deep-seated resentment causes people to do that.
It was so resentful. But the way that I realize this works is that because you get what you focus upon, if you are cast into a place in society and you are told that you are the problem, you are then focusing upon that.
You create more of the problem for yourself then.
And the way that works...
Well, that's your conditioning.
Yeah, and you will begin to draw in to your experience things that support that. And the best way I can even, like, explain this as well is, like, how many times have you started a new job, right? Like, I know when I got into tree work, you think I ever noticed a person with a chainsaw or trees being cut or a pruning cut on a tree or a truck?
Never noticed shit.
The moment I jumped into tree work and I'm focusing upon it, all of a sudden I'm like, man, we've passed 8 different tree crews on the freeway this morning, and
they didn't cut that tree down very well.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I'm looking at trees all the time, I'm seeing everything, I'm thinking differently, and all of a sudden trees are just everywhere in my experience. Now, were they there previously?
It's the exact same when you decide you want to buy a car.
A
specific car. You're like, it's everywhere now.
100%.
Like, oh my God. Yeah.
And it's not that they weren't ever there previously, it's just that your attention was not focused upon it and it wasn't drawn into your experience. So when you're on your phone and, like, even think of, like, you can think of the algorithm as diet manifestation. Like,
the algorithm is just
it feeds you
onto it.
It feeds you exactly what you're searching for, and it's exactly the same way that the universe works. What you are focusing upon will be drawn into your experience. So you have all of these, like, whoever it is on the right experiencing what they're experiencing, and they're experiencing exactly what they're believing because they're seeking it out, and even their energy and their mannerisms and the way that they go about their daily life is bringing about those reactions in the people around them.
Well, your brain's looking for evidence to prove what you believe to be true, and what you believe to be true has come from your conditioning, from what you've been told by society, your parents, whatever you've read online. And the moment you've gone, okay, well, I believe that, I'm going to focus on that, you are going to do nothing but collect evidence to ensure that's correct. That's your ego. Your ego wants to be safe, and its safety is in its surety. So it's going to look for that evidence. You're going to keep, and that evidence that you find is going to keep manifesting and building and growing and growing and growing until you're just living in it.
And so, and then so the exact same is for the left. You know, you have people who feel unvalidated. They are outcasts from society. They don't quite make sense of their emotional structure of what's going on, and they feel victimized. They're not being listened to. They're being dismissed. They're not being treated with the respect that they deserve. And because of this, they are then reinforcing this belief too. They're going, oh, well, nobody believes me. Nobody cares about me. No one's paying attention to me. And as well, like, just as, you know, the white male is accepted for the way that he's treated in this place, whoever you are on the left side of the spectrum, you find yourself in a community that accepts you and supports you.
So yes.
And so it becomes an echo chamber on both sides, where you are both frustrated about the place that you are in society, and you're being supported by it.
Also supported in that
and
space.
While you're focusing upon it, you are then reinforcing the experience. So when you have these debates that go on, and you have the right versus the left, like, the thing is, and when I say that, like, we are a mirror of one another, is that when you have a white man telling, say, someone who's transgender that they're making it up, or that the statistics say otherwise, you are literally telling this person that the experience that they have lived is not true, and that it has not happened. And when they say to the white man on the other side, hey, well, you're actually wrong, it's a white man's world and you don't understand, you are literally telling someone who has experienced an exact experience, telling them that their experience is not real.
You're invalidating each other.
And so at the end of the
thus
day...
creating more and more resentment, thus creating more and more problem.
Yeah, and therefore, like, you have just as much chance of convincing that other person as they do of you to believe their worldview, which is literally impossible. And this has led to catastrophic fucking events. Like, not long ago, like, we had Charlie Kirk, like, he's the same age as me, and he's talking about free speech, and he gets executed in public on a campus in front of thousands of children, like 18, 19-year-old kids who are there because their parents are paying for them to be there, of all kinds of political beliefs, watching a man have his head nearly blown off in public, and then people celebrate it online afterwards.
Should have done a, what's it called? Trigger warning. Too late now though.
But like it's the truth though. It's something that happened.
Right. Yeah.
And afterwards, there are people celebrating online.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I know. Yeah, I only saw a little bit of that because I don't follow any of them.
Oh, it was horrific.
But I did see like the reactions.
But it's, you know, and people celebrated this, and this only sparked more anger because people are like, oh, well, the leftists did this and this and this. But it's not a case of whether it's the left or the right in general. It's where we are as a society. And the problem is that no one is fucking listening, right? Like, they're sitting here, they're going, oh, free speech, but this, and, you know, we'll have people come along and say, hey, I'm not happy about this is how we feel. And then we have these different statements of like, oh, well, facts don't care about your feelings. But we are emotional fucking creatures. Like, we are emotional beings.
And what one fact is to one person is a completely different fact to another person.
Exactly. And so, like, when you actually look at this thing, when we talk about the right and the left, and this is kind of the point that I've been trying to make of this whole thing, is that it's never been a case of like right-wing politics and left-wing politics. It's been the division between men and women, because it's the masculine and the feminine. It's the emotional versus the masculine assertive. And so this has led us to a place where we have lived in a society that is built by men for men. And this is where we're at. And then all the issues that we're having is that we're, you know, women are asking for more rights, and they're asking for this and asking for this. It's like, but they don't fucking want our jobs. They just want us to fucking listen to them. And but what do? We fucking say, oh no, well, you have to, you know, we get women to fucking compete for our jobs and compete for this.
They put all these fucking things in to like, for have these certain companies like must have a certain amount of women, and it's like, but do they want to be there?
Yeah.
Or do they want to be at home raising their family like you fucking created for us in the 50s and then fuck that off?
And like, and I'm not saying that like women shouldn't want to work, but you know, we've forced women to compete with us in a game that they can't win because it's designed by us, for us, and then we fucking condemn them for trying. And then they go, hey, we're not fucking happy about this.
And we end up with all these hormonal issues and everything, and the burnout and everything, because these women are coming in and working in a way that's not actually adhering to our literal physical nature.
Yeah, and it's had horrific consequences. Like, we're living in a world, and again, like going back to the feminine nature of things, like there's AI, like first thing that got taken away were the arts, right? Like, it's impossible to fucking, it's not impossible, it's very difficult to make a living as a creative person now. Like, even I know people who were graphic designers who quit because AI, and who stopped creating art because of AI, and people are frustrated with music because of, you know, Spotify and just the lack of focus on the importance of creativity. And now we're in a society where suicide rates are through the roof. Everyone's on antidepressants. Like, inflation is crazy. It's so difficult.
So the antidepressants, and contraception, that's another one if you want to add that to the list. I feel like that's just as much of an issue.
100%.
And not for, for the deeper reasons that come from that.
Well, so this is actually kind of like the point of where I'm trying to get to. I just want to make sure that I don't...
We needed to take all the stairs up the stairwell to get to the point. We couldn't just... we couldn't leap now, could we? I'm not in the right shoes for that kind of behaviour.
But, you know, it's this it's this division between men and women which has started all of this. And I think the thing is that men, from my experience, don't actually realize how fucking different we are. Like, they don't actually realize how fucking different men and women are.
Because there's no education. The only thing you know is that, ooh, women get their period.
Well,
that's it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like we may as well actually be two different races from completely different species. We are that fucking different.
Have you read Women Are From Mars?
I haven't, but I know about it.
I've been passing it off to all my girlfriends. It's incredible. You need to read that, because I tell you what, if you want to get, it literally talks about men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We are completely different species in that nature.
Well, and that's my entire point. Like, what's the, if you were to put it down to everything, like, obviously we're both part of the human race, we both have the same relative experience, but what is the one defining thing that governs the difference between men and women? Is that women are bound to a 28-day cycle, right? And what people don't realize is that when you come to your cycle, this is when you messaged me the other day and you said this, I was like, yes, I can't
do this right
now. No, but I was like, this is the exact point I wanted to make.
Of course, it happened.
When you said that, I was like, thank fuck, she's gonna like be on the ball with what I have to say here.
Okay.
Because what has never been fucking taught in our society or anywhere is that the reason it is called a period is because it is the period of time where women are meant to be on their own. It is when your psychic abilities are on all fucking 12 cylinders. That's why you're so emotional. That's why you're so intuitive. That's why you get so horny, right? It's because you are firing on all cylinders in your psychic being. And it is a time and a period where women are meant to be nurtured and allowed to reflect and manifest, because you are the creators of the world that we exist in. Like, women are the manifestors and we are the ones who are meant to build it.
And if you think about it, that bleed point is the release of whatever it was that was stored in that period of time, so that you can then create the next period
100%.
of time.
And, but instead,
we're shamed for it.
What do? We say, take contraception.
Take contraception.
Get a fucking rod in your arm. We say, go fucking put your beanbag in the microwave and fucking
come to work still
and go back to work and like wear a tampon. And it's the most disrespectful fucking thing that we can possibly do. Like, women are the givers of life. Like, you are the most important aspect of everything that we've gone on. And like, women can get anything they fucking want. Like, when have you ever seen a woman not get her way? It's fucking unheard of, no matter what. True. No matter how fucking tough you think you are, right? Yeah. A woman will get what she fucking wants. And how many times have you seen...
Or you'll be left elsewhere.
And how, and again, how many times have you seen a woman fucking say something and it happens the next day? It's immediate. Like, it's people...
I do want to preface though, the word, like what you're speaking of right now, is a lot of women that know they're powerful.
Yeah.
Even if they know only an inkling, because there are definitely a lot of women out there that have no belief in their ability to do that. Yes, they might still be able to do it, but they don't have any belief in it.
Well, it's more, I'm speaking of the nature of the female in general as being psychic creatures who are here to help us create this world. And, it's by, the way that things are going are not fucking working. We are living in a male dominant world, and it's time that we fucking help women nurture and allow you to nurture yourself in order to nurture us back and build a greater society. And like, so to put simply, it's time we give women their biological human rights back.
Fuck yeah.
Like, that's where we're at. And I know it's an uncomfortable thing for fucking people to hear, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, sorry guys, but we need to start trusting women.
Yeah. And also, us women also need to start trusting our men as well. Not from a place of we have to, but from a place of we want to.
Yeah.
Because it is a duality. It's you need a bit of the both as well. And like, even if you're not in a long-term or committed, intimate relationship, like the men in your life, you need to be able to trust that they're going to give, like they need to be able to trust you, and it needs to go both ways.
And because like I know for sure, like for me personally, like I'm obviously single. Like I'm very much
Obviously.
Well, no, yeah, I guess no, but like to me it's obvious because I've just got very like particular values. But
you definitely live in a man house.
Yeah, I do. But for when I think of like the perfect partner, I'm not thinking like, oh, a woman who can work and do the chores and all this kind of stuff. I'm looking at someone who I can go home to and feel safe around. That's going to support me and that's going to allow me to let my walls down as a male who has to be the protector all the time. Like I want to have someone who's going to protect me emotionally. And that's what women are the goddesses of. Like they it's a woman's job to raise a boy and it's a man's job to raise the man kind of thing. And that's once you reach that point, it's up to you to figure out how you want to go about it. And so, when I said that this is meant to be somewhat of a social experiment, this is what I mean. Like, I feel like with everything that's gone on, we've gone through a pandemic where people have been betrayed and
everybody,
we saw the ugliest side of humanity. Like we saw families turn on one another. We saw friendships.
All things that were happening anyway, but on a smaller scale. And I think that whole experience really awoken everybody to their darkest shit. Like for me, it was the best experience of ever because I was already heading down that path of wanting to understand more about my reality. But it showed all of the shadows, and that's what's happening again now.
Well, we had to rebuild, and we rebuilt on a more connected and spiritual way, and that spiritual awareness is what then led us to discover what we have about the government and everything that's going on. And I know that without going through what we've gone through since 2020, we wouldn't be ready for something new. And I think that people are ready for change. And I fully believe I fully believe that the way forward is a focus upon the creative side of our being, the feminine side, and not just like, evolving our society to support everyone.
Yeah.
And for everyone to be equal. And it's not to be run by men who go, oh yeah, well, the facts say otherwise. Like stating the facts only reinforces the manifestation of that reality.
The facts, we've seen facts change.
Yeah. Shit
changes all the time because all it takes for a fact to change is for enough people to believe in a different fact.
100%. And so what, I believe what we need to do is we've done enough of the talking and the and saying how things are and, the logical side of things. And I think it's time for us to actually start listening to one another and asking, like, what are you suffering from? What is the problem? Like, what can we do to evolve as a society to make sure that everyone is listened to and, appreciated and validated? And so I guess, like, the first step in doing this is to say, like, as a woman, like, what do you feel that women are suffering from? And what can we do to fix that?
It's interesting because when you invited me to come on this podcast and then you wouldn't tell me what it was about, I was like, let's go and test me.
And I didn't sleep for 2 months. And you don't have to answer that now if it's not...
I just need a moment to think about it. What would I say? Okay. Well, let's, because of what we've been talking about, like from my experience, perfect timing. From my experience right now, I'm going through an expansion. I'm stepping into myself. I'm stepping into my power. I've been listening to my intuition and just going for it with the things that I know I need to do next. And that's fucking terrifying. And what I've really noticed is my dissociation from the feelings that are connected to going after what I want. And I've realized that what I've realized lately is that I don't actually know my feelings.
Okay.
I've spent a very long time not even acknowledging them, not allowing them, not giving myself the space to feel. And I think if I could say what a lot of women are suffering with, like we are labelled emotional creatures, we're labelled troublesome, and you've got your period, and it's at that time of the month, and we're labelled with all of these things, and yet we're not actually given the safety to feel those things, to go through those things. And if you've done any self-development, you'll know that the only way to heal your things is to feel through them. You have to allow the emotion, the energy, whatever it was that's stored in your body, to be shifted, and to shift it, you must feel it. That's how it has to happen. And I know for myself, I've spent my whole life just not understanding. I knew what anger was, because anger is basically the thing you go to. It's kind of seems to be the blanket. A lot of the women that I work with, a lot of different women, and I feel like this kind of the anger, falling to anger and frustration and resentment is like the key things. But, I've only been teaching myself for the last 2 years, that's sadness. I'm frustrated right now, or I'm anxious right now. Like before that, I didn't even know what those were. I was just experiencing things, and I was escaping. I was using drugs as an escape. I was picking at my skin. Like I know now, like I fall into a little bit of self-harmy kind of obsessive behavior, and I know that I'm dealing with something because that happens, and I notice the behavior before I'm actually able to go, well, what feeling is behind the behavior? And if I could say what's a struggle for women is that, because if we don't know how to acknowledge the feeling and feel the feeling, we're not letting it flow through us. And if we're bundled up in all this tight emotion, of course we can't access our intuition, because that emotion and that energy is in the way.
What's a blockage?
It's a blockage, yeah. And
actually, it's more of a knot than a blockage. Would be the way to kind of think about it. And the only way to kind of release it is to work through it.
Yeah. And like for me, it's interesting because I didn't really have issues with my period as a teenager. Got on contraception probably 18, because didn't want to get pregnant. It was not like one of those, the doctors told me to. And I was on it for 10 years. And when I came off it was because I was getting really, really, really unwell. And it was a matter of taking the steps to, all right, what can I do to try and get my body back? And one of those things, and I'd been thinking about it for about 2 years before I did it, was like, I need to get off contraception. And it was a while until my body started to come back. But now, in my 30s, I'm noticing more pain around my period. I'm noticing more emotion. I'm noticing more of an actual fluctuation in my body than I did when I was younger. I definitely didn't have anything like that when I was on the pill, but I feel like now that I'm actually awakening to more of these emotions and different things, I'm starting to realise all of this. And I think, obviously, this is not an experience. I don't have experience. I think that these women so many women dealing with endometriosis and PCOS, it's just so much deeply ingrained emotion that has just been unable to be expressed, whether it's from their lifetime or their mother's lifetime. And if they can't express that, it's literally destroying their innate abilities through that cycle.
100%. And because it's debatable. I'm going to simply just say it, but we are in control of the health of our bodies. And our bodies, the way that sickness works is it is the body creating physical manifestations of trauma that you have not paid attention to. And it's by no coincidence that obviously every single woman has a sexual assault story, right? They've all been through sexual abuse, they've all been sexually assaulted, they've all been mistreated. And it's by no coincidence that women are getting endometriosis and having issues giving birth, because these are physical manifestations trying to draw the attention to where the trauma is stored within the body. And it's through, again, listening and helping release and helping understand. And also, again, I fully believe that the reason I think that creativity is so important is because I see so much sickness and sadness in the world and so much depression, and the one governing thing that I see between all these people is that they do not have a sense of fulfillment. and they're not chasing their dream. They're not following the things that give them fulfillment. Because when you do the thing that you're excited about, that is your feminine psychic intuition telling you this is what you need to do. If you go toward that,
it fuels you forward.
Which is what has led me here, and hence why I'm the happiest person on the planet. When you follow these things, the amount of fulfillment that you experience, it gives you purpose, and that is not something that anything else can fuck with. And the reason people get so addicted to doom scrolling or binge watching TV or drugs and escapism and alcohol and drugs and ice and like all this kind of stuff and food as well is because like, don't get me wrong, all these things are fucking awesome. Like, love drugs, love all this kind of stuff. Like, we've all had a bit of fun. We've all had a bit of fun in our time. But these are all things that are designed to give you stimulation. And the reason that they give you so much stimulation is because, the reason people get addicted to this stimulation is because their life is not stimulating, because
they're not giving it to themselves.
Because they're not following the things that are soul-nourishing activities. If you follow the thing that your soul wants to do and you see that growth and you feel that excitement of, oh man, I just created something amazing, these addictions don't fucking matter to you anymore, because you know that they're only going to stop you from reaching the greatest version of yourself, which you are now focusing upon and manifesting. Right? It builds a momentum toward developing into the person that you want to be. And once you're on this creative journey, and once you're listening and you're meditating and you're visualizing and you're manifesting and you're growing these psychic muscles, like, you become unstoppable. You never get sick. You're always happy. You're always joyful, and you fall back in love in life because you realize that we are creators. And most importantly, that women are the fucking ones who started this shit. So I guess another question is, because, as I said, like, the reason that I wanted to invite you in particular is because you have, I've learned that the people that, like, I've spent, and I'm sure you've gone through this as well, like, as you go through the spiritual journey and you begin to discover yourself, you're like, everyone needs to get onto this. You're like, everyone,
I need to tell everybody.
Has to do this. And
then, I definitely feel that way.
And then you get frustrated because you have your friends who, they have the potential, but they're not doing it. And
I find family is the frustrating one. Friends, I'm like, they'll either come along. I have got to a point where I'm like, friends will either come along with you or they won't come along at all, and you have to accept that. Family is harder because basically they're bound to you, and if they're not coming along for the journey, you're like, fuck.
But the point I was trying to make from that is that the way that I've now begun to decide who I want around me is, I'm not necessarily trying to convince anyone. I'm trying to find the people who are already doing it. And we caught up on your birthday and like had a very good chat about this, and I was like, fuck yeah, like, Sarah's actually doing this. Like, what can I do to actually like help this? Like, what can I do to promote this? And it's given that this whole topic is about trusting women and like nurturing women to reach their full potential because of what I know you're capable of. You already being on that path, maybe go, okay, well, I want this person in on this because they're already doing this on their own. I don't have to convince you to do this.
And also, like, once you start to get to that point of like manifesting, this is a key point my partner made. He's incredible when it comes to manifesting. If I want something and I haven't quite nutted out how to get it, I just have to make it his idea as well, and then we get it, like, no problem. Like, we got a sausage dog the other day. I was just, he was like, let's get a dog, and I'm like, let's get a dog. Okay. So it's interesting though that you say that, but like, the point he made was like, you've got to remember that manifestation can't just be for you as well either. Like, it's got to be, you're co-creating. Like I was saying before, like the men and the women. Like, it's not. If it comes from a selfish motive, you're only going to get so far. Whereas if you go like you've said, okay, I want to take Sarah in on this. I want to share this with her, or it's got to have this kind of like idea of the greater good, like this impact, this change, whatever it is that I'm creating for my life. It's not just going to help me rise; it's going to help others rise. But then also be able to disconnect yourself from the other people's rising. It's like, it is for the good of others, but I'm not focusing on this just for others either. Like, it's
I think as well that like that. It sounds blatantly obvious, but the thing that I've learned, well, the one thing that I've been doing that has given me the most success in every single area of my life recently has just been being completely honest about how I feel, about what I've been through, and just saying, hey, like, this is what I've been through, and this is why I'm perceiving this way.
I think honesty is such a rare commodity.
Yeah.
Like, I in my life have only in the last 6 years or so actually been able to even be around women, because before that I was inherently honest. I didn't understand. I grew up a tomboy. I had like one girlfriend, you know, all the typical feminine sisterhood wounds from a very young age. So I was a tomboy, and around boys I could say whatever the fuck I wanted, and nobody took offense. But around girls I was constantly getting myself in trouble because I would speak my truth. Yeah, well, that's exactly, and that's why I reckon.
I was just a retarded dumb boy, though. But
you and I got along the first moment we met. We got along. We bonded over Bullet for My Valentine, and that was it, you know. And because I think, you know, I wasn't triggered by you in any way, because I was like, oh yeah, I get this. I'm the same, you know. And you met me, I suppose, at not the very beginning of my spiritual journey, but the beginning of my second awakening, I think, when I really started to have to face my feelings and all that. But yeah, I think just the ability to be honest has actually been shamed out of our society and our growth, because, oh, God forbid you say what's on your mind. And this is why, like, so, you know, I create a lot of content, and I've got a personal brand, because that's just the way of things these days. If you want to be an online coach or something, you've got to be able to do that. And I actually really didn't want to do that for a very long time. But what I've learned a lot, and this is like the consistent lesson that I'm receiving from mentors, is your polarity is what gains you a following, right? Your ability to speak your truth, to speak your opinion, and to own that is what's going to get people to go, holy fuck, I agree with you, or holy fuck, I don't agree with you. And, you know, people are scared to do that. I am still scared to do that. I did a poll on my stories the other day saying, like, hey, what do you want to hear more from me? And the highest vote was raw, authentic, polarizing opinions. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to do this.
Well, that's the thing as well. Like, that's all, like, we're all, as I said, like, we all incarnate here to have a human experience and to create. And we are, you know, we are the portion of God which is separated from the source in order to make mistakes. And
I just got the analogy, like, we're like the stars around the sun. I don't know, that's just the analogy that just popped into my head.
I like to think of ourselves being the stars and us being the universe, if that makes sense. I think that's a cool way to think about it.
The heart.
And that, you know, and that each cell within our body has its own unique consciousness and its own awareness, and that we are a gestalt of consciousness using our abilities to create whatever we want.
We're going to have more podcasts, you know that, right? We could go into these chats
I'll have to go into yours. I finally got that piece of fluff that's been in my peripheral. It's cursed, man. Don't get dogs. But yeah, and that's why it's so important to be authentic, because we are
authenticity is honesty.
We are trained to worry about what everyone thinks. Like, with the band, right? Like, I've written a 20-minute song that goes forever and, like, has all these crazy passages and stuff. And I'll talk to people, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've just written this 20-minute song that's pretty nuts. It's like progressive metal kind of thing. And, like, who's going to listen to it for 20 minutes? And I'm like, I don't know. I
mean, we listened to DJ sets for an hour quite contentively.
But it made me realize, like, that's, you know, like, oh, no one has an attention span. I'm like, well, that's the reason I made it, because I'm creating music to challenge your attention span. I don't like the way things are run. I don't like that you have to have, like, the sickest TikTok breakdown and all this kind of stuff. Like, I'm
the TikTok songs, everything's 2 minutes. Yeah. You're like, I only just got into this and now it's over.
Like, I believe that we need to go back to creating art and creating something that is significant to ourselves and honest and authentic, because, you know, the moment you are writing for someone else, or you have someone else's intention in mind, you're not being yourself. You're trying to write for them, which is the thing that they should be doing. That's their unique self. And so the more that we kind of tap into our own creative nature and our individuality, and we nurture that, and we meditate and develop our psychic abilities and understand where the nature of our creativity comes from, you know, like, I don't know what the answers are. I don't know where society's going to go, but all I know is that we need to start taking the first step toward it.
Do something different.
And as I said, the first rule of manifestation is that you get what you focus upon. And by having this conversation, this is how we start that. It's by putting it out there, because the moment, it only takes one person to watch this podcast and this episode to make a change now.
Yeah.
And
well, because that's the thing, I think we can really get caught up in the overwhelm and the pedestal of like, oh, but like, I can't make a difference. Like, one change from me isn't going to make a difference. People can get caught up in that belief, when ultimately the moment you make a change in your life, even if it's just the tiniest thing, you then, it compounds.
Yeah.
You become the, I say to people, I always say to my clients, lead by example. You can't change your partner. You can't change your friends. You can be the example. You make the change. And then so many times they'll message me in like a week and they'll be like, oh my God, this happened with my partner and this happened. And I'm like, see, it's got to come from within. Every bit of change has to come from within, and it doesn't have to be grand. It can be such a small, minute change. And that is the only way we're going to change the way of things, is through small changes and following the soul and following the intuition.
It's through becoming an intuitive race. It's by developing...
Becoming? You mean awakening to the fact that we already are?
Yeah, well, becoming I guess like an intuitively focused race, because the thing is that when, like, even language itself, like we created the physical language to express our thoughts and emotions. And when you have intuition and you develop your psychic nature, it changes the way that language is used. And as I said, like, I don't know where this will lead us. I don't know the challenges we're going to face, but I do know that focusing on the psychic nature of our being and actually like taking the time to understand what we are as humans is what's going to lead to the greatest expansion of consciousness that we've experienced since arguably the time of Christ.
Yeah.
Becoming a united race.
I and I kind of have this belief, and I think for me it's almost a dissociation. Cross that bridge when you come to it.
Yeah, 100%. Just like this, man. Like, I didn't sleep for months leading up to this. I've been having anxiety attacks. I've been like meditating 15 hours a day because I had an awareness of, oh man, I'm gonna go out there and say that we should include women in the conversation for the first time. Yeah. And anything could happen, but the matter of the fact is that, like, I am willing to die for this. I am that fucking serious about what we need, because this may be uncomfortable, right? I know that a lot of men have been fucking very hurt by women, and I know that this is going to be a very difficult thing for them to accept, but it's like, would you rather embark on a creative journey as a race and see what happens, even though, like, with all of the proof of what women can do, in a positive way, I mean? Or would you rather continue being depressed and continue paying fucking $9 a kilo for capsicum? And like...
I think women have the same issue. We have this same issue of just like, men are the enemy.
Yeah.
And like I said at the very beginning...
And I can see why.
I can really look... I mean, I can see why. You know, I myself have had pretty negative experiences with men, absolutely. But like, we've also, like... It's been so ingrained into us to be enemies of each other.
Yeah, because we've been told so.
We've been told that that's the way, and then because we've been told that that's the way, we've manifested these experiences into our life that have confirmed that belief, that have confirmed and created evidence that, like, these people are the enemy. We should not trust them. We should not put our love into them. Because I will say, from the moment I was able to completely relinquish my controlling behaviors of what I thought I needed to be to succeed in life. Like, my Saturn return forced me to do nothing. I could not work. I could not leave the house. I could not do anything. My man was forced into his pants.
Yeah.
You know, before that, I ran the household. I managed the money. I did all that because that's what I'd been brought up to be. I'd been brought up to be hyper independent, hyper masculine, and my partner had been brought up to be in his feminine and not have to deal with any of that. So when I got extremely unwell, he had no choice but to step up. And it was the best thing that ever happened to us, because suddenly I realized that I didn't have to do everything. I could just be. And then in the healing that I've been on over the last, I think it's been 2 years now. Time goes so quickly. The journey I've been on is just this constant reminder of like, I don't have to do everything and be everyone. And that man there, he's going to support me. He's going to help me. He has a lot of wisdom that he can share with me, and I have a lot of wisdom that I can share with him, but it's not my job to teach him and it's not his job to teach me. But when we have a union, we can receive so much wisdom from each other, and, that's what we need. Like, you don't necessarily need to be in union with women or, in partnership, but as a society, the only way we're going to move forward is if we can come to this point of like, we each have our zones of genius, and we need to support the men in their zones of genius, and we need to support the women in their zone of genius. We need to create safe spaces for these things to evolve, rather than just, because something I see a lot, especially doing women's work, is there's women's work and there's men's work, but there's not a lot of both together.
Yeah. And
that is necessary as well. Like, we need to be able to come together. It's not us versus them. It's all of us on the same journey,
All sexes and all races too. Like, not just, there is...
When I say that, everything.
It's not a case of just men and women. Like, this is a case of like listening to everyone and giving...
Everyone's experience
and
is
giving
valid.
everyone an equal say in how they wish to live their life, you know what I mean? And again, like as I said, like we've spent this whole time like arguing and debating and just all this fighting. Nonsense and fighting on the internet. Whereas when have you ever actually seen someone listen and be like, and not argue back? Like, no, let me actually hear what you have to say. Let me actually hear what you're going through.
Yeah.
It's never been done before.
Well, I think people are so... the ego is so attached to the opinion. And when the ego is so attached to the opinion, it's terrifying to consider another opinion. I actually went through a point of time, like when I started to do self-development and spirituality, I actually became opinionless.
Yeah.
I was like, I actually don't need to have an opinion. Now I'm starting to recreate opinion because I'm realizing that being opinionless isn't really useful either. But for a period of time it served me because it took me out of this box. I was in a box and I believed only what was in that box. And so many of us exist within this box. It's like, this is what I believe, and that's why you'll fight other people, and because the ego comes and goes, that's wrong. You can't say that. I believe something differently and everything you're saying is wrong. But if you can dissipate the box and you can go, oh, well, maybe what you're saying is it's your truth. Maybe it's not my truth, but I'm still willing to accept the fact that your experience is that. And that in itself is going to take away so much of our problems if we could just be willing to the fact that somebody else might believe something differently to us.
But also, but that touches on, what I said earlier. It's like, but also teaching them that it's their belief that will dictate their experience. Like teaching people how to alter their beliefs, how to study manifestation, how to practice manifestation, and actually showing them how to get real results within their life. That, I think that leads to that sense of selflessness, because once you're like, oh, like I am in control of what's going on. I don't actually have to worry about everything else because I'm secure within myself, and this is allowing me to have the humility to like actually listen to other people and not take offense or not get triggered by things.
Well, if they're triggering you, it's only because there's a part of you within that can't tolerate it. That's there's some sort of story that you're playing in the background that you can't accept within yourself, and that's why you're upset about the other person's opinion. It's got nothing to do with their opinion. It's what it represents for you. And
it all comes to, again, like, I fully believe that, like, one of the things that I've discovered is that, the soul will communicate with you what it needs. Like we have a higher self. We have a higher self who is the one who chose to incarnate into physical reality, and a lot of effort has gone into each of these lives. Like, we're not just fucking born and it happens. Like, there is a lot of decision making and effort put into a single incarnation. And you do have a purpose. You do have what a lot of people like to refer to as a soul contract of like, hey, it would be pretty fucking sick if we did this with this lifetime.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have those feelings. You wouldn't have dreams. You wouldn't have desires.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go, I want to learn the guitar. Like, you wouldn't have those feelings if you had no purpose.
Yeah.
If there was no, like, you would just, like, what the fuck? You'd just be out there. And that's the thing. So I think that, like, coming back to that point of, like, what do you think what's the biggest, like, issue right now?
Well, I was more or less gonna ask, like, what is the most common thing that you find that the women you're helping are struggling with, or what are they seeking?
It's a
Just
fear.
to be heard?
It's fear of being who they want to be.
Yeah, but why are they fearful?
They've been told their whole life they're not supposed to, because somebody's told them it's not okay, because society has blasted images and images and images and words and songs and all of this shit to be like, who you are is not good enough. But I don't believe that that's just a problem for women. I think that's just as much of a problem for men. And we are perceived. You guys I think are put in a box.
I will say I do believe men have it better off.
Oh yeah.
Obviously there are certain things like going through a divorce will completely fucking destroy a man. I've seen it happen time and time again. But inherently, like, we do have it better off. Like, we don't have to go on our period. Like, we can just kind of vibe and do our thing and not really be condemned for being promiscuous.
Do you think, though, like, I think the cycle that we go through and the challenges that we experience through that, it's part of our contract. Like, 100%. For those of us that do experience more struggles with that, like you said, and I really actually appreciated the concept of the period being the most in tune point.
Well, and that, again, and it's the same as even, like, you can even relate it to any kind of sickness. Like, the body will...
It forces slowness.
It forces you out of an
things.
environment that you're meant to be in. Like, when people get sick, they're not sick because they picked something up. It's because they're doing something that they don't enjoy.
Yeah.
And that environment, like, they're allergic to that environment. We all have our own harmonic frequency. We all have our aura. We all have this, and we can develop this through removing these spiritual blockages and these psychic blockages inside of us. And the way that we do that is by following our passions and meditating and going inward. And when you are on your path, when you're doing the thing that you absolutely fucking love every single day, you can't get sick because you have no reason to be sick. The only reason that we do get sick is because we're not doing what we love. We are around other people. We're around other people with static energy who are also upset. And because everything is vibration, we all have our melodic frequency that's going on within our soul, our frequencies do clash. And when you're around distorted, hectic, artificial lighting and all this kind of stuff in a box that you don't enjoy, it affects you. That's why you come home. That's why people can't get off their phone or decompress, because their frequency is being distorted. And it's only then, because you don't just get sick, right? Sickness is the body's manifestation of something that you are fucking ignoring, right? You're stressed, you don't enjoy work, you have this toothache, you have problems in your relationship, you have issues at school.
I want to add also, from my experience now, the only times I've been sick lately have been when I have decided I don't exist in that identity anymore and I'm going to come over here, and I've changed beliefs. Because changing beliefs really fucks with the system, because you've believed one thing and suddenly you believe another thing. So that is another time when I've gotten sick, when my body has been like, nah, you're going to sit at home and you're going to deal with this. You're going to learn through this and you're going to adapt. And it's kind of like the sickness is kind of the ego's way of trying to put you back in the old belief, but you've got to keep persisting. 100%. That's the other time I've experienced sickness recently.
And that's the issue as well, because people, they get sick, and then rather than being like, why am I sick? They go, oh, I'm just going to take some medication and... I'm just
going to Band-Aid that problem.
And I'm going to go to the doctor.
Go back to work.
But the issue is that when you go to a doctor, you are seeking what is wrong with you. You go, hey, what's wrong?
You're putting a label on it.
You say, what's wrong with me? And they say this, and then you focus upon it and manifest that reality. It is a belief thing. Do me a favor and try this. This is what I did. The last time I got sick was at SO.
Yeah. Oh yes.
That was the most sick I've ever been in my entire life. And you know what I did? I got home and I hit up a psychic and got a tarot reading.
You're like, what am I not seeing right
seriously, when you're sick, rather than taking medication and doing all this kind of shit, rather than going to a doctor, give it a crack and go and get a reading and go somewhere that's actually going to support you and reinforce healthy beliefs within you. Hey guys, just editing the video at the moment and just wanted to quickly jump in with a quick disclaimer to in relation to the getting a reading and shit when you're unwell. This is more or less not to say like that you should actually replace medical treatment with getting readings or going inward or anything. It's just more to say that all health conditions can be healed through meditation and through natural means. But if you like, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just expressing what like the success that I've had in my life in treating my own health, which you'll see a bit further on. But if you actually have like some serious health conditions that are actually concerning, do not avoid medical treatment, because we're still human. We're still bound to the physical vessel, and that may be what you actually need, granted what you're kind of going through. So again, like, don't just like dismiss the entire medical industry just because of what I've said here. It's to be kind of used in conjunction and just experiment with it. Just kind of like give it a crack and see how you go with it. Maybe like if you have a fever or a cold or something just minute, try meditating it away rather than relying on like paracetamol and all that kind of stuff, and just see how you go with it and experiment with the natural alleviation of the issues that your body is facing. But yeah, continue.
Get your journal out. Write down, what am I ignoring right now?
Yeah.
What is my body trying to tell me? And your body and your brain will probably go, nothing, I'm just sick, and just keep writing and go, but what? I did this morning. I was like, why am I leaning on coping mechanisms at the moment? And I kept going, but why?
Yeah.
Because I would come up with all these reasons. And why? And you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Like, I know, and you will have so much resistance to that, especially if it's the first time you've done it, because your ego is going to be like, we're just sick. I want to suffer in my sickness. And that is what's going to keep you in the position where you are powerless, where you are going to keep going back to the job that you know you don't like. You're going to keep doing the things that abandons your beliefs, abandons your dreams. And that's it. Actually, the thing we struggle with the most, self-abandonment. Because not being able to be authentic, the fear of not being able to be authentic, the fear of not going after your dreams, all of this stuff is self-abandonment. We have chosen to abandon ourselves because of these fears, because of this conditioning, because of all these things, because we don't believe that we're good enough to actually go after it. So we abandon it. We abandon how we feel. We abandon the signals our body is trying to send us. We abandon our innate nature as women, as human beings, our creative nature. We abandon the men that need to be there to support us because of our experiences or how our dad treated us or how other men have treated us. We abandon the need, I wouldn't say the need, but it is almost a need. Yeah. Like we need each other. We bounce off each other. That energy, it's yin and the yang.
Well, we're co-creating.
Exactly right. And we abandon that. And then everything supports that abandonment. And then we wonder why, so many people wonder why they can't get anywhere in life. And it's like, well, you have created a life where you abandon yourself every single time and time again, in all areas of life. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And when that continues to manifest and create, because what you focus on grows, if you're continuing to self-abandon, of course you're gonna do it. The moment your dream pops up, the moment that opportunity pops up, you're gonna look at it and go, oh, I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
I think that I've been really pondering on that question, I think that's probably, that covers everything.
Yeah, and as well, like, it's unfortunate, but the universe will consistently fuck your life up if you're not doing the thing you're meant to be doing.
Oh yeah.
Like it will
broken legs, sickness. Mate,
I fucking
everything.
I fell out of a tree and nearly broke my back in half when I was doing tree work. Like that was, man, like,
universe was like,
you're very fortunate if you've never been in a situation where you've woken up and had to check that your fingers and toes work. Yeah. Like that is a shocking experience to go through. Yeah. But even with that, as I said, like, did I go to a doctor? Absolutely not. My uncle did some, he's like a chiropractor and put my back into place. But aside from that, I meditated for 200 hours.
Yeah.
For 10 days, I meditated, and then I got back to work and started climbing trees again. And I herniated 3 of the discs in my back. right? This is what I mean, like, because I had that belief of, no, I'm going to be healthy, and I would focus and I'd go, no, my body is thriving, like I'm healthy. Let's see how quickly I can heal from this. Let's make this a fun experience. And
because life is a game, and we forget that, and we need to play the game. Instead, we're busy playing someone else's fucking game that's really fucking boring. Like, here, get a job, get married, fucking get a mortgage. Oh, by the way, stay in the same place for the rest of your fucking life. Oh, make sure you have a few kids. Oh, but you can't afford those kids. Ha ha, you're losing the game. And then you're like, ah. No wonder we're all fucking miserable.
It can be fun. And the thing is as well, is that, like, I think the thing that most people struggle with is obviously like finances. But the matter of the fact is that, like, wealth comes from within. And if you find that wealth within you, it becomes a case of, like, people will want to be around you. They will enjoy your presence, and you won't have to fight to get what you want all the time. People will actually be like, hey, like, do you want a job? Do you want this? Because you'll be impacting the people around you in a positive way, and people go, damn, like, I really enjoy this person's energy. And
oh yeah, every client that I've had that signed on lately has basically said something along the lines of, like, oh, just your vibe, your energy, you're this, you're that. And I'm like,
and exactly, like, how's it going for you? Like, as soon as like you're a completely different person from who you were when we met. Like, you know, you had your dreadlocks and all that kind of stuff, and now you're just, like, naturally you. Like, you seem like you're actually, like, you found yourself. And like, you know, as I said, like, your skin's clearer, like, you're looking so much healthier and everything's like that. And it's like, you would notice it's no coincidence that all of a sudden your business is starting to thrive because of who you are now. It's because people go, damn, she actually seems like she's figured something out. And
even if they don't know that consciously, it's like this, like, we as humans, we have an innate knowing. And when you witness somebody who is in their power, who is doing the thing that they want to do, even if you don't know it, you know it. And that actually triggers a lot of people, mostly because they are too afraid to step into their own selves. They're in that abandonment. But then also, like you were saying before with the frequencies, like, I haven't bumped into anybody really that has been on a, like, I don't come into contact with many people that are deep in the victim mindset anymore.
Yeah.
Very rarely, like, very rarely. It just doesn't, they just don't come into my field anymore. And whereas, you know, a few years ago, I was constantly coming up to head with people that were just so triggered by me all the time. And I was like, I'm not out here to upset you. It's not my fault that you're upset. Like, I get it. I just represent something that you don't like about yourself. And, you know, it took a lot for me. And I know that the reason that was being created for me is because I still didn't like myself. And I know that right now there is still parts of me. I say parts of me because it's not the whole. There's still these little tiny bits that are still holding on. There's still parts of me that doesn't like who I am and that doesn't have a lot of self-trust. And that's the reality is, it doesn't, like, you know, it doesn't matter what you do. There is always going to be little bits and pieces that kind of come in and try and snap at you. But it's how much you persist on your mission. You're like, I actually know better. I've experienced better. I've witnessed this. I have the wisdom and the experience and the knowledge to know that the more I keep stepping forward, the more I keep following that dream, the more I'm going to get rewarded. And, you know, we were talking about this before we jumped on, of, like, when you start to see the manifestation, when you start to say to yourself, all right, like this morning, right, I didn't have any fuel in the van, and I wanted to get to this certain servo because it was insanely cheaper than the others.
The Duff machine, by the way.
Oh, the Duff van, and it's down low, and the Siace, and I looked it up because I was like, hey Google, how much fuel do I get after the light's gone on? You know, the engine.
Typically,
light.
You get about 50 k's.
Yeah, so it said that, and I had like 20 k's to get here, and I'm rolling into Frankston. Literally, I put it into neutral and just rolled down the hill and the whole drive I'm going, I always have enough. I always have enough. I always have enough. I always have enough, because there was a part of me that was going, fuck, are you gonna make it?
Yeah.
You're gonna make it. And then also, you know, 2 hours before I left home, whenever it was I left home, I got in the car and I was like, oh fuck, okay, we're down to that. Like, I knew that was coming, because it's when you work for yourself, money comes and goes in random times. And I was like, it doesn't matter, I'm due to get paid today. It'll happen before I need fuel. And literally 5 minutes after that, I get a notification on my phone, one of my clients has paid me. And I was like, cool, there we go, I can fill the tank, you know, that'll be fine, I'll get there. And then obviously I wanted to get here, but the whole time it's that belief of, like, consistently being like, all right, no, this is gonna work out in this way. And once you start to see the evidence, because, like, when you have a negative self-belief, you have a negative belief about life, you're going to be collecting evidence. You're going to see nothing but negativity everywhere. It's going to come for you like the plague. The world is out to get me.
Because you'll be stressing and focusing upon it.
And your frequency at a low frequency is just
a stress frequency.
A stress frequency. It's attracting more of that.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't attract people in that frequency very often anymore, and I consciously have the choice of like, I actually say to myself, I'm not even allowing that into my field anymore.
I think as well that like the people. I think the reason you're not experiencing like people with like victim mentality and all that kind of stuff is because they've already kind of complete that quest in their life. They're like, okay, this victim mentality thing isn't working for me. Perhaps, you know, the therapist I've been seeing hasn't been working and the medication I'm on hasn't been working. Maybe I'm going to look for someone who is outside of what society has created for us for mental health.
I mean this more than just in my work. I mean this in general life. Yeah. No,
that's what I mean. Like it's because like, again, they're searching for a better life for themselves and they're gravitating toward women that they can relate to, who they feel have something that they're trying to discover.
One client said to me, she's like, I feel like I see some of myself in you and I want more of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah.
And
I say to people in my marketing, I'm like, if you've got a bit of crazy, you've got a bit of weird, you've got a bit of colourful in you, come hang out.
Yeah,
I'll show you how to let it out.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like that's, as you said, like that works perfectly with your mission of like, because that's the thing, like I'll kind of watch your stuff and
it's not really relevant.
I don't really make sense of it because I'm like a male.
Like, I don't know if this is...
But, you know, but now that you're like, you know, it makes sense that like larger than life excitement, like I am who I am, because like you've now like kind of stated that this is the thing that women struggle with. Like they need, you know, and I think that's I can relate to that in a big way, because I've always kind of been the person who like I'll always try to be the one who leads by example, and I'll put myself in situations that are necessarily like more, I don't want to use the word dangerous, but a more difficult situation than those around me, to be like, hey, I'm doing this over here, so therefore all of this space is safe for you to figure out on your own. And I think that's what kind of gives people that confidence to be themselves, because, you know, there's someone else who's like already taking the attention and they can kind of go into it without being judged for it, because you're the one being judged for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of...
It's hard to be that person.
Oh, it's fucked.
Especially because you do trigger the fuck out of everybody around you. Like even if you don't, like even if they don't acknowledge it, that they're triggered, they want to love you, they want to look up, or not look up to you, but they want to see you as the example. It triggers you. And like I've really struggled with that. Is a lot of my girlfriends, where, you know, I've got this beautiful group of girlfriends now.
Oh yeah.
But that same group of girlfriends have really struggled to be around me as I've been on this journey, because I have, in my purpose of going out of my way to be myself and to embrace myself and to speak, especially because of my work, I talk about it. It goes out online. Everybody knows about it. I'm not quiet about it. And also, I quite like being the center of attention. I chose that path. That was my soul was like, yep, we're going to be one of those people.
Oh, dude, like you've like, yeah.
Well,
I was going to say, just in my head, I'm like, I take my shirt off when I play live. Like, yeah, I get what you mean. But I hate attention, man. I'm an introvert by nature, like 100%. I'd rather fucking sit here and watch, you know, contortionist live sets on fucking YouTube. But
well, that's the thing. Like, I think, like for me, like I also am quite content to be on my own. I'm also quite content to not be the center of attention. But it happens by nature, and by doing that, I become quite triggering for other people, because I'm representing parts of themselves that they are scared of.
Well, that they want to, that they know.
They know they have it.
They want, but it's confronting for them to accept that, because
a lot of the time
of the limiting beliefs
to get to a point of confidence as a woman, to be confident, you are contending with everything society says is bad. You must not be loud, you must not have an opinion, you must not be different, you fucking definitely can't be a little bit fat, or you definitely can't do this.
You must be a virgin.
Oh God. I feel like the long-term committed relationship is probably the only thing that societally I like tick the box for.
in saying this too, I think, not to fucking open up a new can of worms, but this definitely comes down to our religious structures as well. But the thing to understand as well though is that, like, you know, each of our religious texts, like, they were presented at a time where we were a very different race of beings. Like, we were at a very different development of just a race. And, you know, for example, in like the Middle Eastern countries and stuff, like, they're like Muhammad, the prophet, all this kind of stuff, like, it would have not been acceptable at that time if it wasn't misogynistic. It had to represent the ideal, the father, like the ideal masculine role. And that was the same with Christianity. It was like, it is the almighty father in the sky, you know, punishing you for doing the wrong thing and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, over the years, it's been fucking 2,000 years, man. Like, things change, and we have evolved as a species. Our consciousness has developed. We have ascended in ways that, like the fucking internet, for example. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, you know, like things have changed so drastically. We're not fucking trying to figure out how to start fires again anymore. Like, we have so much technology. We're on such a different trajectory. Like, I recently read somewhere that the internet has had the same impact in the development of humans as the discovery of fire. Because all of a sudden we are so connected in a way that we can't actually disconnect from one another.
Connected, and also access to knowledge.
And the reason we have so many fights and wars is because we are forced to understand each other now. And it's that lack of actually being like, hey, we need to actually understand and listen and learn and accept, which has led to all of the wars that we're experiencing. Like, we're living in a chaotic fucking time for a reason, and it's because there has been a lack of understanding and taking the time to listen to one another. And, you know, and I fully believe that you may not have to agree with me, but going on this creative venture of listening and understanding everyone as equals and as individuals, and learning to build a society that's not just for women, but for us to co-create and to also...
The way we're meant to be.
And to allow women to be assertive, to develop their masculine traits, to explore their masculinity, and to allow the male side of the population to explore their femininity, which is their psychic intuition and their abilities. Because I'm telling you right now, like, the reason we are here right now is because for the past number of months, I've been doing a real life experiment where I've gone, you know what will happen if I base every single decision that I'm making out of my life based upon psychic intuition and things that I see in my dreams? And it led me to the realization that I need to fucking put this out into the world and try and start a movement that is working toward a healing place of understanding and learning, rather than a place of condemnation and facts and logic and like, and you're wrong.
So perfect that you've had me on at this point in time, and we must have talked about it at my party, is this event that I'm creating. Check this out. For those who are For those of you that are of the female persuasion, I recently had one of these moments where I sat down and I said to my guides, I was like, what do I need to do next? Like, what's the next step? And I sat down with my journal.
That's all it takes.
And next thing, 3 pages later, networking event, women, panel of speakers, but make it a party. Make sure there's a disco lights and lasers and probably some psytrance, because why the fuck not at the end?
As someone who went to her wedding, which was it was the sickest time.
There's got to be a party.
Sarah knows how to party if anyone does, I'll tell you that much. And she's chill as fuck too, when things don't go the way that they're meant to go.
Yeah, well, I've had my plenty of experiences like that. So I think, for me, it was this moment of just like, this is what you need to do.
Yep.
This is what you need to do. And one of the things my mentor last year that I worked with taught me, shout out to Candy, last year, she was saying, you've got to be delusional. And you've got to be, because the idea, and I believe
it's meant to be scary. That's the thing. It's
the idea of
scary.
Delusion and being crazy and all of these English words that have been placed upon intuition and our dreams, the moment you lean into your delusion and you follow the thing that everybody else thinks is crazy, and the quicker you take action on that thing, boom. Can I tell you a story?
No.
No, you're not allowed to talk. So I had this download about this event. And of course, it was big and it was scary.
Now real quick. So when you say download, just so everyone understands,
idea.
This is in meditation, or it just came to you?
I sat down with my journal, and I said, "What do I need to do next?" I looked at my roof, because that's what I do when I'm chatting to my guides. I looked at the roof and I was like, "All right, I'm ready for whatever the fuck is next." I've been in this kind of limbo for a while now. I know I need to do something more than what I'm doing. I want to help people on a larger scale than one-on-one coaching. I want something bigger. I've known for a while that I want to do some sort of event, but it hadn't come in yet. And I sat down and I said, what do I need to do next? And then I wrote that same question on the book, and I just started journaling, and it was like this moment where this idea just flew through me. It was like, you're going to run a networking event. It's going to be here. It's going to be on the peninsula. It's going to be for women. It's going to have this aspect and this aspect and this idea. And you're going to have speed dating, but it's going to be networking. And like all of these ideas were just like, boom, 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 and you're going to have food and you're going to have music.
And you're like, hold up, let me write this
down.
Yeah.
And it was like, get your friends to come and play flow toys and show people how to play flow toys, because people are going to be like, what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah.
You know, bring the doof to business, bring the party to business,
make it fun,
authentic, wild nature to this field.
Make it creative.
Yeah, to this field that, you know, people think, oh, to be a biz babe, I've got to get a suit and bring my MacBook and, you know, be all aesthetic. I'm like, yes.
That's the masculine society that I'm talking about.
And like, you can if you want to, but you can also be a fucking crazy hippie lady and still do the same thing. So I'm trying to bring that. And anyway, so this is the idea. It comes through, and then a couple of days later, I thought, fuck it, I need to take action, because the quicker you take action, the quicker you take some small action, the quicker the next thing's going to pop up. Like, if you don't know where to start, write everything you think you might need to do down, and then go, all right, what can I do right now? Do that thing, and I guarantee you the next thing is going to appear.
And the thing is, as well, is, like, it's definitely one of those things, you never quite know what's on the other side of an event. And when I mean event, I mean like a physical event taking place.
Yes.
So even like, I don't know how hydrated I'll be after drinking this water. I can only find out by
when
doing
I drink
so.
that water.
That was a terrible example, but you know what I mean. Like, but you know, you don't know what will happen, and when you make it a creative game of let's fucking see. Like,
let's play the game.
I trust the universe, or my higher self knows what I need to do, and I may have to go through some difficult things. I may have to go through financial struggle. I may have to go through a breakup. I may have to leave my job, but I trust this dude.
Do you want me to tell you the rest of the story?
I do.
So a couple of days, so let's say Thursday night, I get the idea. Saturday morning, because, you know, I'm a little bit scared. Saturday morning, I'm thinking, fuck, I need to do something about this. So I put a post up on, I went onto the internet and was like, what do I actually need to do first? Like, I didn't know what my next step was. So that's where I leaned on the technology that we have available to us. And I went, this is what I'm running, and these are all my ideas. And what's most important right now, you know, 3 months away, because I even got a date. Like,
just get assistive AI in it.
That's like, what I did. I used the AI and I said, this is everything. And then I basically wrote everything into the AI that I'd journaled. And I said, what's most important thing for me to do first? What do I need to do before anything? And it was like, find a location. Cool. So I put a post up on Facebook, on the marketplace, one of them, probably a couple of them. And I got inundated with people.
I saw that one. It was on the Mornington Peninsula group.
This location, this location, this location. So then by the end of the weekend, I'd booked in 4 places I was going to go see through the week. On the Wednesday, I went through the week, because obviously I still have a life that I need to live and things I need to do. And I went and looked at one location, and I really liked it, but it was out of my price. Well, I didn't know what my price range was, but it was a lot. And I was like, fuck, $2,500 just for the event space, not for the food, not for anything else. I was like, I feel like that's a bit much for someone who's never run a big event. You know, I've run plenty of events from my home. I haven't had any overhead.
And you don't want to be charging like $200 a ticket.
I don't know. I wanted it to be low. I wanted it to be a low access. So I was pretty, you know, I liked the space, and I thought, you know, I'm looking again using the AI and seeing what I actually would have to charge for tickets. And I was driving to the next one, and then I looked at another one, still not suitable. Went to the next one. As I was driving there, I was thinking, I really liked that first one. I've got 2 more to see. We'll see what happens. And I get to the Rye Hotel, which is where it's going to be held. And I'm looking through this beautiful bar that they've got upstairs, and she goes to me, oh, I don't like to charge an event space hire. She said, it's $1,000 to start, and that will go all into your food.
Oh, sick.
and then it'll just go up depending on how many tickets I sell.
In saying that, my grandfather possibly managed that place like 20 years ago as well. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember him taking me there and like showing me it, but I was quite young and I didn't quite understand if he was like friends with them or if he actually like managed the place, because he ran like restaurants his whole life and stuff. But yeah, sorry, that was...
Well, anyway, I'm in there and I'm looking around and it's ticking all the boxes. It's ticking all of the boxes.
Awesome location as well by the beach.
Beautiful location, really. And the vibe of this space.
You got the New Wave car wash next to it. Yeah, it's good.
Well, it's going to be at night. People aren't going to see that. But the vibe of this place, it was more like, it was colourful. There's the gold bar. There's these beautiful velvet green couches. It's my vibe. It's colourful. It's bright. And then she said $1,000, and I thought, okay, well that kind of ticks that box, doesn't it? And then I get in my car afterwards. Still, my brain's going, fuck, I really liked the first one. I got along with the first lady. Oh shit, I don't know. Mornington makes more sense if people are coming from the Melbourne. You know, all the doubt, all the things are going on. And then I get in my car and I pick up my phone for the first time because I had been talking, so the phone was not with me. Pick up my phone. I've got a message from a client that had a sales call with me a week before.
Yep.
Hey, I'm keen to sign on. I want the $1,000 a month package. Can I pay now?
There you go.
Bam, sorted, done. All right, that's the location I'm picking then. I picked that location and everything has just flown on since then, and every decision I've made and every time I've been a bit stuck of like, well, what do I do next? I've got a list and I look to my list, but then I also go, all right, what's most important now? And I've got friends coming that are going to perform flow toys with me.
Yeah,
I've got...
Is Emma...
I've asked Emma to come on, be on the panel.
How cool.
I've got such a wide variety of women. I haven't just got coaches. I've got a friend of mine, a friend of ours, who's literally just moved across the country to be with a boy who was one of our friends. And
shout out to Emma.
She's moved across the country and she's also decided she wants to be in a trade. And I want to just showcase the fact that it's not, if you want to go and be an entrepreneur, you can go be an entrepreneur, but you can also be in your power and be authentic and be yourself in the 9 to 5, because the thing is, the 9 to 5 is not going anywhere. We need it.
It's always there. Yeah.
It's part of the structure that we live within. And I always say to people, you can't complain about the society that you live within and choose to live within it. If you really want to whinge about it, then go live on a commune somewhere.
Yeah, well, I definitely, and again, like, of course, like having a 9 to 5 is important. Like, you need to teach people work ethic somehow, but it's through, you know, it's like it's like a life apprenticeship. You know what I mean? You gotta work for the man to understand that you want to be the man. And to take the reins for yourself. But the most important thing is, like, make sure that when you decide to be the man, it's doing the thing that you love. Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna fucking hate it. You're gonna resent yourself. You're gonna hate it. Yeah. Like you get money and you get to buy things, but these are all, it's all escapism. Don't get me wrong, like, you can go on holidays with the family, but you don't need that fucking jet ski, and you don't need the brand new car and the massive fucking TV. What you need is soul nourishing activities, which is doing the thing that you love. Fulfillment.
Yeah, and I think like that really is like that event, obviously, that I'm running. So just if you are watching and you do want to come along to that, it's called the Activation Portal. It's happening on the 8th of the 8th, Rye Hotel. Check out my Instagram, synergisewithsarah. Yeah, message one of us.
Well, I'll put everything below.
Oh, cool. Link. Yeah. Come along if you want to come along. But
Can
anyway,
I come, or is it for women only?
I mean, I don't know how to police that these days, because people are like, but what? And what if? And I'm like, well I suppose.
So what is it exactly? It's a women's empowerment.
It's a women's networking event.
Okay, yeah.
In the most simplest of terms.
Yeah.
And it is basically to show women that they don't have to fit their mould that they've been told they need to fit. They don't have to be a certain version of themselves just to get by. They can be whoever the fuck they want, and they can actually go after their dreams.
And so, without obviously like giving spoilers of what you're doing, what's involved with it? Like, if you were to try and market it, like, what's the plan?
Well, I suppose that one of the biggest things for me in my journey has been when I have stepped into rooms with other women doing what I thought I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because when you see someone doing the thing, you realise that it's possible.
Walking into a room of 60-year-old psychic women.
But you go,
100%.
Suddenly your perspective of reality changes, because when you're open-minded, when you're open-minded and you see people doing something that you before believed that wasn't possible, you suddenly see someone doing it, like making a certain amount of money, traveling the world, doing whatever that is they're doing, and you see that, you go, ooh, if it's possible for them, maybe it's possible for me. Some people see that and go, oh my God, I could never possibly have that. But that's your mindset that you've got to work on there.
Limiting belief.
The ultimate reality of what I want to create here is to give women a possibility to see what's possible, to connect with each other, to realise that you don't have to, like I said before, a lot of women think, oh, if I want to get into business, I have to fit this mould. But then you're just taking yourself out of one box and putting yourself in another, and that's not what it's about. The amount of change that has happened in my life since you've known me is exponential.
Yeah.
Since in my last, I'm 31 now, 10 years of adulthood, like the change that has happened for me and the different versions of myself that I have chosen to be, you're never ever just yourself. It is constantly evolving. Yeah. You don't have to fit an aesthetic. Yeah. You don't have to fit in a box. And I want to be able to share that with people because I feel like not enough of us believe that we can step out of the box.
And I think as well, this, going back to what I was saying about the left wing and the right wing, talking about how white men feel frustrated because they're put into the right wing and that's that political area. Imagine if we could create a political spectrum where that is a political space for women. Women, by being a woman, you are then placed into a position in society where you are actually nurtured and encouraged.
Empowered.
And building a political spectrum on
Unfortunately, that's too dangerous for the way in which we have been brought up to live, because if enough women were in their power, and this is what is beautiful about the work that I have done and the reason why I actually shifted from working with all genders to working just with women, is because when we are in our power, we are unstoppable.
100%.
And usually most conversations you have with men are like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, we create life. Of course we can create anything else.
Yeah.
And that is a extremely threatening concept.
Women are terrifying, man. I'm speaking for the men out here. If you have ever been yelled at by a woman, holy fuck. I would take getting into a fight with a man over a woman any day.
Yeah, we go for the throat.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. We go for the throat.
I remember once it happened to me and I tried to escape out the window and cut my hand open because I was terrified of her, and I was like, this is fucked. I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
But no, 100%.
Obviously we don't condone this behaviour, but yeah, I think it
happens.
It does happen.
In saying that, her craziness did turn me on. I'll be real. I was in that era. This. I was in my I need the chaos era of my life.
Yeah.
But you learn. you learn and you grow.
You learn from every experience. And you know what? I think also the journey to authenticity, the journey to self-love, the journey to unlocking your potential and your power, you are going on a journey. You are experiencing different levels of reality, different beliefs, different versions of who you are, different aesthetics.
And you will make mistakes.
And through that journey of mistake and failure is just mistake, it's just redirection. Fuck, we're so scared of failing that we stay in the box forever and we wonder why we're miserable. But when you go on this journey and you start to evolve and just choose differently, you are choosing a new experience. And from every experience you learn differently. Fuck, we're here to experience things. Don't pigeonhole yourself into one experience. That's not what life is about.
Stop suffering.
Yeah.
And the entire point of suffering is to teach you how to stop suffering.
Yeah.
It's its entire purpose.
There's this song, and it's a psytrance song, obviously.
Hell yeah.
And in the beginning it says this, what does it say? It's obviously some sort of spiritual teacher or something. And
Terence
he's saying,
no,
I don't think it's Terence McKenna, but it's one of those people. And it's saying to love is to suffer is to love. And I can't remember all the lyrics, but to exist is to suffer.
Yeah.
And we suffer so that we move forward.
Yeah.
The suffering is the motivation. It's okay, you're suffering here. What do you need to do better? This question we had before of what needs to change?
What would you be in the position you're in if you weren't suffering in what you were doing? It's the whole, going back to how I said that we are the portion of God that separated itself from the source.
We suffer from
we've
that
created
disconnection.
suffering for a reason. It's because it leads to new opportunity and new forms of creativity.
Imagine a life where we didn't suffer at all and where we were
suck, man. I'd be
happy to
bored as
just
fuck.
do the same thing. It's like, you know, have you seen, I couldn't put my finger on the name of the movies, but there's this one movie that I'm thinking of in particular. I think Harry Styles was in it, and they're all kind of living in this kind of like utopia world, and a couple of them sort of start to cotton onto it, and it's all kind of this full like warped situation. But like that, ultimately, like that's kind of where we would be, and it's like what point?
Yeah, imagine
point?
if like you went outside and the weather was the same
Every single day. You know how, okay, this is a great example. I always wanted to live by the beach. It was my, like, fuck, when you would have met me, I would have been ranting on about it. It was like the thing that I was manifesting. Anyway, I got it.
And you're like, Cranbourne North.
I'm gonna,
the whole time.
That was the closest I could get, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I believed I could get. And now I'm living like right there. And do you know how often I go to the beach?
Every day?
Not anymore.
Damn it.
I did to begin with.
Yeah.
But now it's the novelty has passed. Okay.
Well,
it became
you learned
normal.
what you needed to learn from it.
I received what I needed. And like, yeah, I fucking love where
Mm.
I live. It's such a different dynamic. I needed to move from where I was because where I was living was surrounded by poverty mindset.
Yeah.
It was surrounded by victim mentality. It held on to so many dark stories for me. It was time to go. I don't think anyone should live in the same place for too long.
Yeah.
So especially not your hometown. Get the fuck out of your
Yeah,
hometown. But when it's the novelty has worn off. So to that point of like, if we had no suffering and we lived the same life and we did the same thing every day and the weather was the same every day, the novelty wears off. I love a rainy day.
Yeah, it's the best.
Mind you, I don't work outside. My partner will come home and I'll be like, it's so rainy today. And he's like, I was on the roof. And I'm like, well, I was inside listening to the rain on the roof. And it was beautiful.
In saying that though, I very quickly learned how to make friends with the weather when I was doing tree work.
Yeah.
Because there were times, man, where I'm up a 30-meter tree and I'm like
storming
above my high point and it's raining and it's windy and I'm like cutting shit with a chainsaw and like ropes and I'm like, this is fucked. Like this is not a situation that a human being should be in.
No.
But I looked at it and I was like, but wait a second. I'm like, fuck, that shower's gonna feel good when I get home. You know what I mean? And like, fuck, I'm gonna like, you know, I wouldn't be able to enjoy coming home and being back in my space and being warm and having a nice shower and like eating the food that I love if I had not gone through this really fucking struggle fucking situation. And it's, you know, and that's the thing, like you can only, like it's the yin and the yang. They both have to exist in polarity, but it's understanding that they are both aspects of life and can be used creatively and in a positive way. Like,
well, how many, especially musicians and artists create through pain and suffering.
Yeah,
A lot of music and a lot of art out there has come from this place of suffering, and like, yes, a lot of it hasn't, but like that, it motivates creation in its own way as well, because it's an outlet and it's a way to express those experiences.
Like sometimes I listen to my music, or I'll show my music to someone and they'll be like, whoa, and I was like, yeah, a white boy got his heart broken. But it's the best, man. Like that's what we go through this shit to fucking create.
You've got to do something with it. And I think so, like, again, to that point of like creation through suffering, like when we just suffer and we don't make change and we don't acknowledge it and we just continue to suffer, we don't do anything to express and outlet that suffering, that's when we create more of it. That's when we live in pits. That's when we end up depressed.
That's when we start getting sick and having bodily pains and have to get teeth removed and all this kind of stuff. Like it's all related, and
the body breaks down to represent the fact that the emotions and the psyche is breaking down.
Your physical and your mental health are a reflection of one another, and that's just and it's time that we fucking start focusing on the actual mental and soul side of things. Then
that's the thing, we've been taught to focus on the physical. Go to the gym. Like I started as a personal trainer.
I'm finally back at the gym as well.
Yeah, me too.
So
Only a little bit, but
so good.
Enough. But like I started working as a personal trainer years and years ago before I got into coaching, and very quickly I had this kind of realization of like, I don't really want to support this physical focused externalized happiness of like when I lose weight or when I do this or when I do, and then like I'm like, there's so much more to this, and like yes, the physical needs to be worked on, but if you're not doing the work on the mental and the emotional, there's no fucking point doing the work on the physical, because they are going to reflect each other. Like for the years and years, I was obsessed with going to the gym and torturing myself. Like I'd train for hours a day and I would fucking eat nothing, and I would do that for months, and then I would go the complete opposite and I would get on a bender for like a week long.
Start binge eating
and then
and
I
stuff.
would binge eat for weeks and weeks, and then I would start the whole process again. And my body was so broken, and one day, I don't know what I did, I never went to the doctor, but my knee just gave out. I could barely get in and out of the car for months.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't go to the doctor, but I think I knew I needed to
Get a
suffer in
tarot
it.
reading. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, well, that was way before I got
Guys,
into
go to
spirituality.
the doctor if you have
Something literally broken. They have their purpose, okay?
Yeah.
They
Or
have
do
their
both.
purpose.
Do both.
Do both. I mean, my mum recently broke her knee, fractured her knee, and when she rang me to tell me, it took me everything not to say like anything straight away. I just sat with it and let her tell me to begin with, and then near the end I was like, well, Mum, what are you not facing?
Yeah.
You know, this is an opportunity. This has happened to you to force you to sit with your shit and deal with it.
I've always felt like a really good way to kind of like, when you don't want to kind of say that to them, I kind of go like, say the pain you're going through is a reflection of something you're going through mentally.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like say if
possibly,
if it was possible for this to happen, what do you feel that would be connected to?
Yeah.
Just as a thought experiment.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
so
I
that's
mean?
good for people that are not in your life. They don't know you well.
Yeah.
Or they like. So it's. I actually have this thing now. I say to my friends, I go, "Do you want me to listen to you, or do you want my advice?"
Yeah, straight up.
And then when they go, I want to hear what you have to say, I go, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because what I have to say you might not like.
Yeah.
Because I used to not ask that question. I used to not preface it at all. My mum is different. We have the relationship now when something happens, so I'm going, well, Mum, we've talked about this. You know, but with my friends, I'm definitely a little bit more cautious of actually asking for that permission, because a lot of people can't take that sort of advice. They don't want to know about it. It's too hard for them to realise and be accountable for the fact that they have power over what is happening in their reality.
Yeah, and like, I guess not to like drag the episode out too much longer, but it definitely, I think a good place to kind of finish this would be just like the importance of communication as well, and also like just being aware of what your intention is when you're communicating something, because I know that we've all been on the receiving end of like a partner coming home and just venting and venting and venting. And, you know, really what happens, like, as I was saying, like the most commonly, or most likely the reason you're venting is because you've been in that static environment that's affected you, and you just want to be yourself again, and you need to release it.
It's not aligned with you, and you know you're not supposed to be there.
You know, but if you're coming home and you're going up to your spouse or your partner or whatever and being like, oh, I'm so frustrated because this and this, you're then projecting that onto them, and that's not a healthy thing to do whatsoever. Like, the best thing that you can really do is say, hey, like, I'm going through some stuff. Do you mind, like,
is it okay if I
are you
vent
okay
right
if I,
now?
well, not even that, but is it okay, like, can you listen to me and actually ask for advice? Because it's like, and act upon the advice if you believe that that's what you feel is correct.
This is a big part of that book. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. This is some conversations my partner and I have recently had of like actually saying, like, setting that scene with your partner, being like, hey, I'm really going through some shit right now. So like for women, it's about saying, because men as a masculine, they want to fix. It's just an innate thing, or fix. So a lot of the time women will, and this is what I was saying about like being unheard and inability to feel things. It's like we come in and we want to just share our feelings, and the man's like, oh, well, here's all the reasons that we can fix it. And it's like, I don't want you to fix it. I just want to share it. And this is the power of women being able to come together and men doing their own things. We function differently. If you want to know more about it, go and read that book. But when it comes to communication, it's like you've got to understand that we function differently and we communicate differently. And if you can set the preface of like, hey, I just want you to, if you can just hear me or hold me or love me or be here for me right now, a lot of the time after you've had the chat and you've let it off your chest, then you can come around to go, what do you actually think about it? Because most of the time, if you are in a proactive, loving relationship, you do want your partner's advice. But at the beginning, you need to get the emotion off your chest. You need to express what it is you're going through. Otherwise, it's just going to sit and toxify within your system.
And it can be as simple as that. Just simply like asking, how do you feel about this?
Yeah.
What would you like to do and why?
Yeah.
And, and for guys out there, like, literally just think of women as being an entirely new species that you are trying to learn about.
Yeah.
Like, don't just go, oh, well, this is what I would do.
I would deal with it.
They're not us.
Yeah.
They're different. They're a completely different fucking creature altogether.
And foreign.
Yeah, like take. They may as well be like an alien species. They're that fucking different. But like, actually take the time to learn and understand them. Like, they are based upon emotion. Like, that's how you navigate the world. It's very fluid, whereas us is very structured. And I think that bridging the gap and understanding that difference and learning how to actually communicate and work together in that environment is what's going to lead to the most healing in what we're going through. But yeah.
Fully agree.
I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up. Do you want to, and yeah, so Synergize with Sarah on Instagram.
Yeah.
Is there any, it's just that.
That's kind of the best way to find me. I do have most of it. I don't even think it's linked anymore. It was linked to Facebook, but I feel like Facebook's obsolete for that sort of space. So basically Instagram is the way to go if you want to find me. If you don't have Instagram, you can find me on Facebook under the same name, Synergize with Sarah.
Yeah. I'll link all your stuff in the video anyway.
Everything will be linked. But yeah, if you want to go deeper onto this conversation, and even if you are a man who wants to start to understand it, like I feel like, you in particular, it's like the willingness to go to women in your life that you can see sorting their shit out or being themselves, whatever. Be curious about what's led them to that point, because if you can be curious about what's led them to that point, you're going to be able to actually widen your experience, whether you are in an intimate relationship or not. And if you're not in an intimate relationship with a woman and you want to be, the best thing you can do is find women that you admire, or that you not from a place of I want to try to get with them or whatever, but just find women that you admire and learn from them, because then you're going to be able to show up differently when you do eventually find yourself in that search.
Do what I'm doing, and I obviously don't have a partner yet, but so I can't confirm that this works, but figure out what your ideal woman is.
Yeah.
Like, get a book and write down exactly what you want. Like, hair color, how she smells, how tall is she,
what
skin color, is she creative,
what do you do together?
What do you do? What is your dynamic like? And then once you understand what that woman is, ask yourself, what kind of man would she be attracted to? And build yourself into that human.
I literally had this exact same conversation with a client about finding a partner literally yesterday. Obviously, finding a man, same thing. You've got to create the vision for the life that you want to live, whether it's a partner you want to have, the society you want to live within, the job you want to have, whatever it is. You have to actually be willing to go, this is what it looks like. I want it to look this way, and then surrender the whole thing and be like, now I'm just going to lean back and let the actions lead me to that.
And again,
experience.
like, the first rule of manifestation is you get what you focus upon. If you start focusing upon this world that you want, events begin to fall into place, and the momentum toward that reality taking place will happen. So again, meditate, journal, develop your psychic abilities, watch the shit that I'm making. Like, this is what I'm doing now. Like, I'm not just kind of creating podcasts. Like, I want to create a podcast that is about listening and understanding, but also teaching how to do this stuff. Like, teaching, I've got videos about the exact manifestational techniques and how to do them, and all of it's free. Like, I don't want to make money from doing this shit. Like, I want to make sure that everyone has access to the shit that I'm suggesting, because I know that I'm genuinely, I get competitive about how happy I am. Like, if I find someone who says that they're like happy in life, I'm like, yeah? Are you? Really?
Betcha.
I reckon I can outjoy you.
Oh, your ego's got to come in and fuel your stomach, isn't it?
But look, we're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. And if you follow your excitement, and your joy, it will always take you to the right place.
Oy vey.
So thank you for watching. I was very anxious about this episode for obvious reasons now that you've seen. And this has been the Sumariwolf podcast. This is Sarah Jane Tickner. Thank you for watching. God bless.
Thank you.